Now, one interesting point you brought up that I'd like to explore a little more is the whole idea of sometimes these programs and services often will deliver services cheaper than if they're just brought into the general health budget.
Right.
And what does that sort of say about the economic management of the health system?
Well, again, it's just, if you look at their record, their history, the BC Liberals in healthcare, they would claim that they have spent more money or they are spending more money in healthcare than ever before. But it shows, how, like they really don't know how to manage it. If they focus on preventative programs like seniors wellness program, they will, prevent people going to, hospitals. And when you go to the hospital and then you have to, if you happen to stay overnight, it costs thousands of dollars. So, what's better, prevention or actually, helping people later on when it's too late?
What about access to services? Does everybody have the access to services they need in the area?
No, because as I mentioned earlier, the access to services has also been very limited. They have limited it to a point that people really don't know what to do. I have in Burnaby, Edmond, several families, actually 1/3 of government-sponsored refugees who come and live there. We have a huge community of new immigrants. If you don't have services coming from the community organization, they really don't know how to access it because those information, the information that they need is not available. One interesting comment was made by one of these people who came just recently to Canada. She said, she knew how to survive in a jungle in Africa, but she really doesn't know how to access government services here in Canada.
Wow. Let's move on to education, and let's start with the school boards. How apparently there's no cuts to education. How are the school boards feeling?
Well, that's what the Liberals claim. In Burnaby alone, the Board of Education, they are experiencing anywhere from $6 to $9 million shortfall this year. So where would that money come from? If they don't have that extra money, the essential part of their budget, what would they do? Our Board of Education is already very efficient. They have done everything to work within the limited budget they had in the past. Now, on top of that, this additional shortfall is going to create huge amount of pressure on them. And it's a worry for all of us. I don't know how they're going to survive. That means there would be less money available for more programs for kids, those who need help more. And then some schools need resources, extra resources, and they won't be able to have that.
And very similar to health, sometimes it's not just the direct funding, but some of the programs, side programs and side services. I'm wondering about the gaming grants. That's an issue that's been raised a lot. How does that affect schools?
Yeah, the gaming grants, was supposed to provide more funding for example, school playgrounds. Many of the schools in the poor neighborhoods, they need to upgrade their playgrounds. And they don't have the ability and the capacity to raise to $50, $60, or $80,000 to get matching funding for grants from the government. So that's gone. They are really struggling already. But in addition to that, now government is saying the gaming, the revenue that they are receiving now, they're not going to give it to the schools, to the community. So, like some schools, like for example in Burnaby, they still have those wooden playground equipment.
The ones you get all the splinters from.
Splinters from, yeah. Some of them may look okay if you look at it, but they really need to be replaced soon. And when they have to do it, they would have a hard time finding money to do it.
So we have these cuts to the gaming grants that go out and affect schools and the community.
Right.
But the part that I don't quite understand is, my understanding was that gaming revenue is going up. So how come the gaming grants are going down?
Well, that's a story that we have raised these questions in the legislature over and over again, asking the government to provide answers. Of course, then you don't get answer when you ask questions from BC Liberals. They don't answer. The internet gaming has gone up. Betting has been increased to $10,000 on internet, online. Yet, when the revenue goes up quite substantially, and all of that money which was supposed to be earmarked for the community programs is reduced. Doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Now, we're just about out of time, but I understand you brought some photos from your constituency. I want to make sure we see these. I was wondering if you could walk us through what we're seeing here.
Sure. Well, this is the picture that I went to Taylor School, meet with grade 2 students, reading books to them, because in the libraries are also now experiencing cuts.
Right.
So this was at Taylor Park. And this one was at my open house. We moved our office from Edmund Street to Rumble Street. When we had the open house in November, when we moved there, we had a couple of hundred people out there. So we were celebrating it. And this picture is at the SFU club days. I met with William Plong. He's also from the Sudanese community, and he's doing a wonderful job, to raise awareness and helping students to do their homeworks.
Excellent.
Yeah. And this picture was taken at the CAW, Canadian Auto Workers. So they had their members in a seminar. They invited me to speak about HST. Provide them some facts and information. So that's what I was doing. And this picture was taken at Burn Creek Secondary School, grade 10 students. They invited me to speak about child poverty. They attended an online conference, UN conference on child poverty. So we were discussing that.
I think you got one more here.
One more. This one is Grace Lutheran Preschool. They were celebrating their annual celebration. I was there presenting this certificate to the organizers. They are doing a wonderful job. It's a beautiful, little school there, which is helping families.
Excellent. Now, just before you go, so I guess we can anticipate more HST in the near future.
Well, I hope the government will listen to people. 82% people are against it, despite all the spin coming from the BC Liberals. Don't do it. That's my advice to the Liberals. It's not going to help anybody.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching Constituency Report on Shaw TV. We were speaking with Raj Chouhan, New Democrat MLA for Burnaby Edmonds.